Imagine being a world-renowned figure, celebrated for your achievements, your name etched in history, only for you to vanish without a trace. No clues, no messages, no final chapter to your story. It's as if you were erased from existence. For centuries, some of history's most prominent figures have mysteriously disappeared, leaving behind only whispers and wild theories. What happened to them? Did they meet an untimely death, or did they simply vanish into thin air? Today, we are going to unravel the stories of historical figures who mysteriously disappeared without a trace. Stay with us as we dive deep into these unresolved enigmas of the past. Throughout history, there have been disappearances so puzzling that even the most dedicated historians and experts have struggled to provide concrete explanations. Today, we will explore a few of these extraordinary cases that continue to capture our imagination. We'll look into the lives of famous individuals who seemingly vanished from the pages of history, and examine the theories and clues that still intrigue us today. Were these figures victims of a conspiracy? Or did they simply slip into the shadows, leaving no evidence behind? Let's dive into these mysterious tales and try to uncover what might have happened to some of history's greatest minds. Our first story takes us to the 20th century and one of the most famous disappearances in the history of aviation. Amelia Earhart, a daring aviator and the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic, disappeared during her round-the-world flight in 1937. She and her navigator, Fred Noonan, were last heard from near Howland Island in the Pacific Ocean, but they never made it to their destination. Despite an extensive search, no trace of their plane was found, and their disappearance remains one of the greatest mysteries of the 20th century. For years, theories have abounded about what happened to Earhart. Some believe her plane crashed into the ocean after running out of fuel, while others argue she was captured by the Japanese, who mistook her for a spy. Another theory suggests that she survived the crash, only to be stranded on a deserted island where she eventually perished. Despite numerous expeditions to find her plane, no definitive evidence has ever been discovered. Was Amelia Earhart the victim of a tragic accident, or did she disappear for reasons we may never fully understand? Next, we move back in time to the ancient world and one of the most legendary figures in history, Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt. Cleopatra is famous for her intelligence, beauty, and political cunning, but her death remains shrouded in mystery. The traditional story is that she committed suicide in 30 BC, after the defeat of her forces by the Roman general Octavian, later Augustus. However, what led up to her death, and why did she choose such a dramatic end, is a topic of intense speculation. Some historians argue that Cleopatra's disappearance from the public eye before her death suggests she may have been hiding or preparing for a final confrontation. There are theories that suggest she was in hiding, perhaps planning to make a return to power or plotting an escape from the political turmoil of the time. Others believe that her suicide was the result of a deep personal loss, and that she simply had no choice but to disappear from the world stage. Regardless of the theories, the true circumstances of Cleopatra's final days remain unknown, adding an extra layer of intrigue to her already mysterious life. One of the most perplexing disappearances in early American history is that of the Roanoke Colony. In 1587, a group of English settlers arrived on Roanoke Island, off the coast of present-day North Carolina. Their goal was to establish a permanent colony in the New World, but when a supply ship returned 3 years later in 1590, the settlement was completely deserted. The colonists were gone, and there were no signs of what had happened to them. The only clue left behind was the word Croatoan carved into a post, a reference to a nearby Native American tribe. Various theories have been proposed to explain the disappearance of the Roanoke colonists. Some believe that the settlers were killed by local Native Americans, while others think they may have left the island voluntarily, only to disappear into the wilderness. Another theory suggests that they were victims of a natural disaster, such as a hurricane, that may have wiped out the colony. The mystery of Roanoke continues to captivate historians, and the truth behind their disappearance may never be fully known. Moving to the 20th century once more, we come to one of the most famous labor leaders in American history, Jimmy Hoffa. Hoffa was the president of the Teamsters Union, a powerful labor organization, and he was known for his ties to organized crime. In 1975, Hoffa mysteriously vanished from the parking lot of the Marshuse Red Fox restaurant in Bloomfield Township, Michigan. Despite an extensive investigation and numerous theories, Hoffa's whereabouts remain unknown, and his case has become one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the 20th century. Some believe Hoffa was murdered by members of the mafia, who had grown tired of his influence and wanted to eliminate him. Others speculate that he went into hiding, either to avoid prosecution or to escape from those who sought to harm him. The most popular theory is that Hoffa was killed, and his body was disposed of in a way that would ensure it was never found. To this day, no one knows for sure what happened to Jimmy Hoffa, and his disappearance remains a subject of great intrigue and speculation. These stories, from ancient to modern times, highlight the deep mysteries that surround the lives of some of history's most famous figures. Their disappearances have sparked countless theories, investigations, and debates, but the truth remains elusive. Whether they were victims of foul play, accidents, or intentional concealment, the reasons behind their disappearances continue to captivate us. The question remains, what happened to these historical figures? Were they simply victims of their time, or were their disappearances part of a larger, more intricate story that history has yet to fully uncover? As we search for answers, we are reminded of the many mysteries that remain hidden in the annals of time, waiting to be solved. Perhaps some of these figures will remain lost to history, but the intrigue and fascination they leave behind will never fade. If you enjoyed exploring these mysteries with us, make sure to leave a comment below with your thoughts on which historical figure's disappearance you find most intriguing. Don't forget to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more fascinating historical mysteries. We'll see you in the next one, as we continue to unravel the enigmas of the past.